Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Barry Brown, author of the Amazon bestseller, The Student Athlete Playbook, Success in the Classroom, Sports, and Life. And we say thank you. Whatever time of the day you're watching, we say thank you. And you know how we do it. We feature the best student athletes, the best parents, the best coaches, everybody that works with youth, and they're out here doing a great job. We try to highlight them and show that balance in the world that our young people are doing great things. And today is no different. Today we have the record-setting running back from Blessed Trinity High School out of Roswell, Georgia. We have Mr. Justice Haynes. How you doing, Justin, man? How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Hey man, I'm doing great, man. Well, a pleasure to meet you in person, man. Heard some great things about you. Seen some of them huddle videos, man. I'm like, yo, man, that young man is handling his business. And then to have a 3.9 GPA on top of that, hey, that's a true student athlete, young man. Honor
Yes,
and
sir.
pleasure to speak with you this afternoon. Now,
Pleasure to meet you as well.
yes, sir. Now, along with Justice, we have the people that produce this young man, which is very important as well. We have his mother, Miss Brandy Gowdy. How you doing, Brandy? How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Pleasure to have you here. And then we have his father. Now, y'all might know this man from the University of Georgia. You may know him from the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have none other than University of Georgia star, Baron Haynes. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm well, Barry. Thanks for having us on, man. We greatly appreciate it.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Well, we're gonna get right into it, man. Today, one of the first things that popped in my mind was like I'm saying justice, the name justice, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a powerful name because it speaks to so many different things. How did y'all come up with that name? Who, Brand? I guess you can go first. The mom, I always like to let the mamas go first with that name because I lost every battle in my household with naming the kids. I can tell you that right now, Ron.
I, I amen to that, brother.
Well, yes. I know it's a powerful name, but actually, the funny story is Justice was not supposed to be named Justice. He actually was supposed to be named Caleb.
Oh wow.
And when he was born, Veron and I looked at him and we were like, "Yeah, he's not a Caleb." Um, it didn't resonate. That name had come to me in a dream. I had seen it. It wasn't really popular, and so we talked about it. So he was born. Didn't have a name when he came out per se,
Right.
and
Right.
Justice was it, and so it stuck, and it's always been true to who he is. It fits his personality, his character, his drive, how he lives his life. So I think it was very fitting for him. So.
Excellent. But Ron, you got anything to add to that on the
The
name
only thing,
Justice?
the only thing I would add, Barry, is I didn't think the kid was gonna get out of first grade with spelling the name because he actually has two middle names, right? So
Oh wow.
Oh,
we
here,
couldn't
okay.
decide on Alexander, and then we wanted to get Veron in there, so it was like Alec Justice Alexander Veron Haynes, and I'm like, there's no way this kid is getting out of first grade, remembering all that, right? So, but yeah,
Right.
that is the true story. Like he was supposed to be named, his name changed with when he came out, and we saw
When he came
how
out.
rambunctious and how he was just so owning his baby mannerisms
Wow.
already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Justice, I want you to speak. I'm gonna highlight you. I'm gonna put you on the main screen. I'm about to take care of some technical difficulties right quick. But Justice, how have you felt about having this name as you continue to grow up and having this powerful name of Justice? Share that with everybody that's watching.
I love my name. I'm thankful my parents named me that. Um, it's been a true blessing, and for my name to have power, that's like a true blessing. So I'm like, I have a stage, and I try to use that stage for positivity and to help younger kids and help people in need and just do the right thing all the time. Set a good example.
That's awesome, Justice, because when I see young people's names and being in the education field, and I'm not in the classroom every day anymore, but I work with a lot of students, and when I still go back into the schools and I'm trying to read names, or they tell me what, I'm like, wait a minute, say that again. I'm like, oh my goodness. Now you're gonna have to spell it for me so I can use phonetics and try to get this thing right. But when I hear the name Justice, I mean, I already have a meaning in my head, a definition in my head for that, and then you see it from cartoons to the Justice League movies and that series, and just as far as you start talking about justice for people in general here in the world, it's just a powerful name, and it's wonderful when you see a young man or a young lady, for that matter, living up to that name and being an example of that powerful name, man. So tribute to your parents and to you with your name, man. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. That's
Yes,
awesome.
sir.
So now with that though, Justice, let me you just had another amazing season, young man. And how does it feel to be breaking all these records, and they start mentioning names like Herschel Walker and things of that nature? How does that feel as you continue to grow? Because see, I'm thinking you were, when I first heard about you, I'm thinking you were a senior, and then when I heard you was a junior, I was like, whoa, wait a minute now. He's hit the 6,000 yard club, and he's only a junior. So how does that feel, young man? How does that feel?
It was definitely a surreal moment. It's a true blessing. I thank God every day for allowing me the ability to even do that. But at the same time, I know I got to keep working, and that puts a bigger target on my back. So I'm just got to go back in the lab this off season and just get better and try to get better. Then I try to keep progressing from freshman year to sophomore year. Now junior year is finished. Now try to get better and add something new to my game and take my game to a next level this senior year coming up.
That's awesome. Now with that, when you start talking about adding things to your game, how I guess, Veron, this is a question for you and Justice. When y'all start looking at his game, because it looks pretty complete to me, but like he said, you can always get better, and that's what a true star does. They try to get better every day. What does Justice work on? Like he said, he wants to get better. He wants to add something new to his game. What do you see as his father and as a former player at the highest level? What do you see him getting better at right now?
So a lot of high school kids, I think, take the blocking aspect and learning defenses uh, for granted. And what that does, it really makes your job easier if you're able to identify defenses, see what they're trying to bait you into doing, um, read the safeties, kind of give yourself a pre-snap read. This offseason, that's one of the things that I, in particular, am going to try to expand upon with Justice. We usually watch film, his cut ups after each season, and then try to identify a part of his game to work specifically on, so you get better. I think the first year Bussy was, um, what was it, breakaway speed, I think it was that off season, and then last year was making people miss in a phone booth because he had the speed going on, and he had capitalized on that. So each year we try to work specifically on different things, and kudos to Justice. Thank you for, I never told him this, but for still listening to the old man,
Right.
and because some kids don't even want to hear it, right? Taking constructive criticism kind of hard, but he's been able to take it in stride, and he's gotten with some really really great coaches. That's bar none the best in Georgia, and for in my opinion, best at what they do. So
That's
he's
awesome.
in good hands. I know that.
Man, being coachable, listening, and putting forth the effort. That's some of the things that we promote with our student athlete achievement program. And Justice, your dad just said that's what you do. You take constructive criticism very well, and you're willing to listen. And a young man that is coachable, a young person that is coachable, that takes them a long way. That's what makes them so valuable, in my opinion. A young man or a young lady that's coachable. That's outstanding. Thanks for saying that, Ron.
Yeah.
That's definitely important, right there.
Yes, sir.
Now, Justice, I'm gonna go back to you for a second with this question, because we look at all your accolades on the field, but then we say, man, but wait a minute, he's obviously putting in major work in the classroom too to have a 3.9 GPA. What's your favorite subject, man? What's your favorite subject in school?
Probably social studies. It used to be math, but it's social studies now.
Okay, why is that? Why is social studies? Or how did it become your favorite subject?
I just love learning about history and it's very interesting to me to learn about right now I'm in American history, so we're learning about everything um, that's happened through America, and just learning about it's very interesting. And history has always been interesting to me, so learning about that, my attention span's really high when it comes to social studies.
That's excellent, man. That's excellent. Well, we're going through some amazing times right now that in about 10, 15 years, that's going to be some tremendous history that you can look back on that you actually live through. So
Yes, sir.
that's what's going to be amazing about history right now. That's awesome in social studies and the whole nine, from the political climate to the social, racial, everything, man. That's awesome, man. That's awesome by far. So now, Veron, Brandy, I'm gonna go to Brandy with this question right here. Brandy, what, I guess, when you were growing up, because I've met your mom and the whole nine, so outstanding lady. As you were growing up, what through school? Let me just say, school from elementary to middle school or junior high, whichever system you were a part of, to high school and even college at the University of Georgia. What were some of the things that you learned in your childhood and growing up as a young lady that you learned first and foremost, and then that you're using with Justice and as he continues to grow? What are some of the lessons that you've learned when you were younger, and now you're able to use some of that with your son?
Well, definitely, my mom, my whole family always talked about, your faith, and, keeping God first and keeping that at the forefront. So it was definitely always, just being centered from a faith perspective. And then, my mom and my parents are really good, really big on accountability. You might make mistakes, you might do things, that aren't going to make your parents happy, but you have to be accountable for them, because then you can grow, you can understand what you did wrong or you did right, and you can grow or you can strive to do better. So I think that was one of the major things, my faith, and just always being accountable, and self-analyzing what you're doing.
Excellent, excellent. Veron, what about you, man? Because you I know you've had a lot of coaches and the whole nine that have influenced your life. But what are some of the lessons from your parents, from your childhood, coming through middle school, high school, playing and in the classroom, that you've been able to instill and to share with Justice?
Well, I will have to piggyback off of Brandy and say that faith was always big in our household, right? My dad, he was a professional, so he was a professional soccer player, the
Wow.
youngest captain of Trinidad and Tobago soccer team. So
Excellent.
we all get our athleticism, Justice included, from him. And his thing was the hard work, right? No matter what, we wasn't going to get outworked. So with that being said, not just that, but how you do some things is how you do everything, right?
Yes.
And the details, the attention to detail is really the impressive part that he instilled in us, right? It wasn't just folding sheets. It's had to be a certain way. When you're
Right.
putting something away, it was a purpose for it. So I think that in hindsight, it really enforced what you see now in how we parent and how we also uh, deal with justice and well, me in particular. And I think, and the big part that I really want to stress too is the importance of starting something and finishing.
Oof,
That was
yes,
always keystone in our household. You start. It may not go the way that you want to, but you finish, right?
yes,
You got to
yes.
finish.
Man, man. Oof. Well, the first thing, faith. A lot of people try to walk away from that. They try to, matter of fact, they might run away from that. um, but faith is a huge piece of what we must all keep in the forefront as we're going. Because we only hear about in my belief system, we only hear about the grace of God, and then while we're
Amen.
here, we're able to
Amen.
make great things happen because that is what is that faith allows us to do. So that is awesome that y'all have instilled that in your children, and help Justice continue to move forward in his life. And then I love it, which is a mantra of mine, and what we share with young people is the fact that, hey, you start something, you finish something, but the way you do everything is the way you do anything. So when we meet people, and I learned this, thank goodness I learned this in my 20s. They say, hey, when you're looking for people to do stuff with you, go get the people that's already busy, because those people know how to get things done. If they're sitting
Mhm.
around and they don't have nothing to do, there's a reason for that. And those are not the people that you want to work with. So when I learned that, I didn't know years later it was going to transform into the statement you made, with the way we do anything is the way we do everything. That's an amazing and powerful statement, that you've learned from your parents, your growing up in your village of people that instilled that in you, which have allowed you to instill that within your family. Man, that's, hey, thank you all by far.
Thank you.
Um, Justice, man, you develop into this, super recruit. Back in the day when me and your dad were coming up, I don't remember 5 stars, 4 star, 3 star, 2 star. I don't remember none of that stuff. I don't even know. Well, I'm pretty sure it didn't exist at that time.
No,
Um,
no.
because we definitely didn't have all these camps. I think I went to one camp when I was in high school, I think. Um, and so with the I guess the filtration and the saturation of all these camps around the country now, and young men, young women are able to visit these schools and actually show them what you can do in these camps ahead of time, is a tremendous advantage. I think that's a tremendous advantage, and I hope all student athletes continue to take advantage of that opportunity. But how does it feel, man, to be one of the top recruits in the class of 2023? Like, how does that feel? Because I talk to young people all the time. Some good athletes, some not very good athletes, but everybody wants to be recruited. Everybody wants to feel like somebody wants them to come to their school. How does that feel, man, being one of the top recruits in the class of 2023?
Again, it feels surreal. It's a true honor and a true blessing, but at the same time, I know it puts a target on my back. And every time I step on that field, people are trying to take that away from me, or it's just someone's trying to outwork me. So every time I'm working out, I think about that. Just someone's out over there trying to outwork me, and I got to outwork them. So it's just a target. You got to keep going. And you got to keep pushing.
Wow. Now, did you hear? I hope the student athletes that are watching this, the other parents, coaches, student athletes in particular, listen, here's one of the top athletes in the country saying that he has to outwork. He still has to outwork people. He keeps that on his mind that, hey, nobody can outwork me. You heard what his dad said. You heard what his mom said, keeping the faith and understanding that if I work hard, good things are going to happen. And hey, thank you for sharing that message, Justin, because I think a lot of young people believe that on talent alone, they can get certain places. But without the work, hey, talent is dead, in my opinion. It
I can
doesn't
only
matter,
take you so
because there's a
far.
kid with less talent that could outwork you, and that could be a
So
problem. So that's awesome, man. Thank you for saying that out your mouth. That's because these young people need to hear the cats coming up behind you need to hear that from you, because they can
yes,
they
sir.
can hear it from your mom, your dad, me, but it's different when they hear it from one of their peers. It's much different. So that's
Yes,
awesome, man.
sir.
That shows leadership and maturity right there. Wow. So Brandy, I'm gonna go back to you for a second, because I really believe that parents, coaches, the teachers, we play a pivotal part in these young people developing into the adults that they need to become to be a productive citizen in this world. Did you and Veron have a vision and a plan? I know we talked about his name, Justice, but did y'all have a vision and plan for his life? Did y'all like, man, I want this kid to be XYZ, or I want to put him in these kind of programs? What kind of plan or vision did y'all have for Justice when he was born? Randy, I'll start with you.
No, we didn't have a vision for Justice. I think, Veron and I, our biggest thing was to let him and support him and love him and develop him to who he is supposed to be, who God has put him in the place and wants him to be. So it was more, it's always been, supporting him, also giving him a good foundation, and morals, and that also that discipline and that love and just being involved. But it's more so, and it always has been. I mean, I know a lot of people think, Veron being the sports guy, is pushing Justice in a direction. And I will tell you, I'm the first to tell you, I've seen it firsthand since day one. He's never done that. He's always been there to support Justice in the sports. And then from my front, I'm all about academics and business world. And, people probably think that, I really steer him in a certain direction as far as his grades. And it's never been that. It's just been also supporting him, giving him the tools and utilizing both of our knowledge, and what we have to instill in Justice. And then also just exposure. So I think the exposure led him to develop into the person that he is. Justice has done everything. I know he doesn't like to talk about this, but he did acting for a long time. Wow. He's done, I mean, he definitely is a Renaissance man. He doesn't like to speak upon those fronts, but he was in acting, plays in the school plays. Okay. He does the baseball. He did soccer. I mean, football, all the other community service things. So these are things that he came to us, or we put in front of him, and he took a knack to. So I think it's always important from parents' standpoint to really just love your kids into who they are and their greatness, and support them, and maybe not always have an idea of what you want them to be, because as we know, what we want them to be are usually things that we usually didn't become or were lacking thereof. Right. Or something that we see, and it just doesn't always end up that way. And I think from a parent's perspective, you do damage to your kids when you try to push them, into being what you think they should be.
Yes, man. Wow. I got support, building a great foundation, exposure, which is critical, so they can see different things, and then allowing them to try different things out and see what they're good at, and at the end of the day, what they want to become. That's Brandy. That's awesome. So support, definitely a lot of love in there. You mentioned a word that a lot of people definitely don't want to mention a lot. You even said discipline, Brandy. I'm like, what? She said discipline? Wait a minute. Parents are still disciplining children? Wait a minute.
Yes.
So that's awesome, Brandy. And parents, I hope you were listening there, because that's true. We hear it all the time when we see. I know that the fathers, we get a bad rap for wanting the kids, our sons in particular, to be football players and these basketball players and all this stuff. And like you just said, hey, my son might want to be an actor. You know what I'm saying? My son might want to be a advertising agent, or create his own advertising agency. Now one of the great things these young people are into is the digital currency, and I see a lot of young people becoming finance gurus. So we have to support our children. Once we see the talent, then it's important that we support them and continue to expose them to the great things that are out here in the world. So thank you, Brandy, for sharing that with us. Veron, brother, what are your thoughts on that when you start talking about a vision plan for your children?
Honestly, she hit it on the head, right? So we weren't the parents that were going to push you. Like, you had to come to us, right? We gave you all the options, and it was presented to you. Well, as Brandy said, it was we gave you options and we gave you a some exposure to different things. After that, I think what parents get twisted, so to speak, is that they want it more for their kids than the kids want it for themselves, and it can't be like that.
No.
It's at anything that you do. The kid is got to be their love. So we got out the way, and we just made sure that we were present. Right.
Yeah.
I have never missed a game,
Right.
nor will I ever, God willing.
That's
That's that's important to me. You know, kids I don't think need much. Kids are kids.
Mhm.
But what they really do need is your time.
Yes.
They need to look up in the stands and see that mom and dad is there and they're present. And once you get that, I think they feel a level of security,
Yes.
and that's what helps the kids propel them to the next level and take off. A next thing that Brandy said that I wanted to highlight too is that we gave him Justice wasn't like his name definitely fits him. Like you see the 3.9. He's competitive in school as well. So
Ooh,
it
I love
wasn't
it.
just it's not just the sports that he's competitive in. He really I usually have to tell him to turn it down. Like let your sister win,
Right.
and he refuses at
Yeah, he
any
said,
day.
"Nah,
Like
Dad,
he
not
wants to
yet,
win.
not
He's
yet."
competitive. That's his nature. But
Right.
you know that's positive. Usually, if you got to tell somebody to turn it up, that's when you got the problem. Not when you got to tell them to turn it down, right? So,
I agree.
if a kid is excited and motivated, just support them, man. Be there for them. Give them all the tools. Encourage them. Show up. But the most important thing, yeah, I think parents have to allow the kids to want it for themselves. You know, I in particular am always away. So in baseball, I'm always at the far end in outfield. In
Right.
football, I'm far away. Hey man, at that point, shoot, the work is done. The kids got to play now.
That's
I
right.
mean, the talking is done. You know, the hard work was done Monday through Friday or whatever,
Right.
Monday through Thursday. So yeah, it's got to be important. It's got to be their wants, not yours.
I love it. I love it. I like what I take the main thing I take away from what you just said, Ron, is be present and allow your kids to be and allow them to want to go do whatever they have set their eyes on to accomplish. And we just
Yep,
be there to support, which goes back to what Brandon said. Be that support, be that foundation, and give them the foundation to allow them to springboard off of to be great in whatever they do, man. That's
yep,
great, Brandon, Ron. Those are great messages. And Justice, man. I listen, brother. I can see why you are developing into the person you're developing into. This is outstanding and great information that we're sharing and talking about, and just a great overall conversation. Thank all of you all. So
Yes,
Justice,
sir.
I'm gonna come back to you. So your mom mentioned it. I hadn't mentioned it yet, but she mentioned it saying baseball. And so now I was a baseball guy, man. Out in Clayton County, Morrow High School, played baseball. Blessed. And with my size, I probably should have focused on baseball more myself personally. Um, I ended up being Clayton County Baseball Player of the Year my junior year. Um, so, what does that feel like to be a multi-sport athlete and juggling all these different things from the classroom to the baseball field to the football field? How does that feel doing these multiple things?
If it, it's just I'm always busy, but it's good because when you're always busy, you're always doing something, and I don't like to really sit down. Even after this football season just ended, uh, last 2 weeks ago, I took a little week off of just no training and just like got to spend time with my friends last week, and I'm back training. But even that was hard. I still like snuck in a little baseball here and there because I got to get ready for baseball.
That's right.
But it just keeps you busy. and then just the same thing, just keep going. Uh, whether it's baseball in the classroom or in football, I'm trying to be the best that I can be possible at that, and just try to be on top. So just try to work my butt off at all those aspects and just continue to get better.
Man, that's awesome. So baseball, football, the classroom. You mentioned taking a break off. That's a week off to spend with your friend. So I'm glad to know that you're human. You are a kid. You are a teenager. I'm very happy to hear that. What do you like to do? Like when you're just hanging out with your friends, what do y'all like to do?
We'll do a lot of stuff. We'll just hang out. We'll play football. Like we can go in the backyard, play football, play basketball. Like last week, we played a lot of basketball. That's what we've been doing. So just 5-on-5 hooping, and just playing each other. Or we'll go like throw a baseball. Like we'll do a lot of things. We'll play Madden. We have Madden tournaments playing Madden. We'll play NCAA,
Okay.
MLB, Fortnite. So we do all that stuff, and then just hanging out and chilling out.
Okay, that's good, man. Because I was worried. I was like, "Well, wait a minute, is he a robot?" And Brandon, is he a robot or something?
No, that's one of the things, Barry. I told him, I was like, dude, please take some time, relax, be a kid,
Absolutely.
go do something stupid. I don't know, like just be a kid for a week or two.
Absolutely, I love it, man. That's good stuff, man. Because when you were saying you're outdoors a lot, that's a throwback, man. That's a throwback kid. If you're outside playing, because hey, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, Justin. I know your dad has shared these stories back when we were kids. You know, we didn't have these advanced video games that y'all have now. That Atari, brother, we got the Pong going back and forth on that little screen, brother. That get boring real quick.
Real quick.
So we get outside, and when the lights come on, man, our parents looking for us, brother, because we out there doing it all day. So I'm happy to know there's some young people that still get out there and play with their friends outside and just be outside and enjoying the fresh air and the whole nine. So that's very important, man. That's very important. So now I'm gonna hit you with a little bit more serious question, Justice. When you decide to go to college, wherever you go, you know, we're not gonna get into that right there, but wherever you go, what do you plan on majoring in? What are your other interests other than athletics and being the superstar athlete? What are some of your interests as far as a career goal and everything?
So I want to do ESPN. That's one of my things, and be a businessman. So sports communication is something that I want to major in, and business. So,
I love it. I love you. Well, you speak very well. I definitely see that in your future. And man, and with your mom and your daddy, you learning about business. Hey, brother, I can see both of those things. Excuse me. I got so excited. I hit my computer. That's awesome, man. Because let me say this, Justice. When we have our young people, and this is the reality that I share with a lot of people, especially kids that may be as talented as you or not as talented as you. The reality is, at some point in time, you're going to stop playing sports, even if you make it to the professional level. And usually, when you finish playing, you're still very young,
yes,
and you have to do something. You have to be able to manage your money. You have to know how to invest it, and with you being a businessman and wanting to learn more about business, that's going to serve you well. And I know your mom and dad are going to be there to help you as you continue to build that part of your life along with your athletic skills. You're going to do very well, young man. So everybody that's out there watching, from the student athletes themselves to the coaches to the educators, hey, let's also show our young people how successful they can be off the field, which is very, very important. Actually, in my opinion, more important than what they do.
Barry, I'll highlight a point too, not to jump in, but
go
you
ahead.
said something that's very important. I think our young athletes and young people in general need to have a solid financial upbringing too. Like, it's one thing when you get to the league, even if that's your aspiration, but what do you do with your income? So start educating the kids when they're young on money and the different types, the three different types of incomes and all that, the taxes with the new NIL deal right now. A lot of kids is gun-ho about it, but you got to know, you have to have a foundation on taxes and all that stuff. It's a lot that goes into money than just having a bunch of money, because easy come, easy go.
Right. Brandy, you want to say something to to the business side of the game, and from sports to just regular business, from the traditional brick and mortar businesses to now this new online virtual digital currency economy. I call it, me and my people, we call it the connection. We now are in the
Right.
connection economy. You want to speak to that at this time or say anything to that?
Yeah. I mean, as far as business and especially children, Veron hit it on the head. As far as, always knowing about finances, I think it's very important because it leads to all aspects of business, no matter whether you're going to be an athlete, you're going to be a business owner, you're entrepreneur, whatever the case may be. I think that's important. But I also think, it's important when it comes to business, it's education. And just always knowing the different types of businesses out there. Like, kids need to know that, you don't have to work in the corporate sector. You can be an entrepreneur. You can go into this new metaverse. There's so many things, and it's just education, and not just education in business of what you want to do or what you're doing, but what else is out there. Because always business, the world, industries that collide, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a good foundation in business, I majored in finance. Money, understanding money, and so with me, I can maneuver in any different industry, and I think for kids, you have to show them that when it comes to business, they can make what their passion is into a business and make it work for them. As long as they have education and understanding of that business, I think it's important. So as parents, just, making sure that you're always educating them and showing them and exposing them. It's all about exposure.
Wow.
And on the flip side of that, kids, take the advice. Trust me, it's imperative. Take the advice.
Absolutely. Well, the coach, hey, listen, you said it earlier, being a coachable young person is critical. And Justice, I'll share this story with you real brief as we finish this thing up. I was in junior high, just moved, because I'm originally from Southwest Atlanta, over by the Greenbrier Mall, West End area. That's where I grew up before I moved to Clayton County. Moved out to Clayton County like in the middle of my 8th grade year. And Veron, that's when I moved out to Morrow. That's when I met Andre and all my Morrow brothers and everything. So just as I got out there, and I'm not a basketball player by no means, brother. And no, like I said, I'm only 5'8", so I'm vertically challenged to a certain degree, But these were my new friends. They didn't know me. I didn't know that I'm getting to know them. And they were like, man, you gotta come play basketball with us and all that stuff. So I tried out for the team. This is the 9th grade junior high team. Made the team amazingly. I guess they just put me on the team, honestly. And so I'm sitting on the bench most of the season, but we were so good. The team was so good. They would put me in the games. In the games, I probably was like the 8th man off the bench or something like that. And we end up winning the county championship, Justice. And I'm like, oh man, okay, cool. We're part of a championship team. But I played football and baseball, so I'd done all that stuff before. Won little championships and stuff at Adams Park and Ben Hill and Sandtown and all that stuff. But never in basketball because I never played on an organized team before. So this is my first basketball experience, my first and only basketball team that I was on. 9th grade, Morrow Junior High. Shout out to the Bobcats. So we getting ready for the banquet. I'm going to support my teammates. We won the little county championship. Hey, I'm on the team. I'm going to clap everybody up, cheer for my brothers, because we had some great players on that team. Get to the banquet, and the coach starts talking about, oh, this young man shows up to every practice, works out hard, a great student. Man, he gives it 100% at practice in the game. And boy, he just makes our team better. I'm like, man, he's saying some nice things about somebody. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, at the end, he called my name and gives me the coach's award. And I'm like, what? How do I get up? I played, like I said, I played in every game because we were so good. But it was like, wait a minute, I don't deserve, in my mind, I'm saying I don't deserve an award for that. I'm just doing what I was always taught. Like your mom and dad said, work hard, the way you do everything, you do anything. So all I knew was to go hard anytime I played. That's all I knew. And because of that, they gave me the coach's award. That was in the 9th grade. And I'll never forget that because that taught me that every single person on the team is valuable, and that last man on the bench, that last man on the roster can actually help the team get better if they work very hard at practice and make the starters better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what
Yes,
I
sir.
learned from that experience. Being coachable, listening to coach what coach said, and just doing what they asked me to do.
Yep.
And
Sir.
I won some because I'm used to getting MVP. I'm used in football and baseball. That's what I'm used to. But coach, I didn't even know that was an award. You know what I'm saying? So I learned something my ninth grade year that I still use today with showing young people that, hey man, just put forth the effort and everything else to take care of itself.
Yep.
So I wanted to share that with you, Judge, because you, as one of the leaders on your team, still have that same attitude of working hard and actually you acting like you trying to fight for playing time. And that's the attitude that you need to have to continue to accomplish the goals that you set for yourself. So I
Yes,
wanted to
sir.
share that with you and everybody listening that hey, being coachable wins. That's all I have to say about that.
Yes,
So
sir. Definitely.
so as we finish up, Veron, I'll go with you, and Justice, we'll finish with you. Veron, we have parents, all kind of different coaches, student athletes themselves on here. What would you like to say to them as we finish up this conversation? What would you like to leave with them as we finish up today?
I would leave them and encourage them to write your goals down because it's only a dream until you put it on paper, then it becomes a goal.
Yes,
After that, you really get to see it and visualize it. Not every day you're going to wake up at the top of your game. You're human, and we get that. But if you could propel yourself back to where you was when you wrote those goals, maybe that gives you that energy that you need to succeed that day. So write it down. Next thing is what you put in is definitely what you get out. And it's got to be you. And just because it doesn't happen now, stay with it. Because you can't have a testimony without the test. So the test is how long are you going to stay encouraged, engaged, and involved? Your time will come. Your time will come. Stay with it. Finish what you start and also be that great teammate to everyone. How you treat someone is definitely indicative of who you are as a person. And it's not the people that like your coaches. I want to see how you treat the janitor. I want to see
yes,
how you treat everybody. That's
yes,
important. That speaks volume for your character. So I
absolutely.
encourage everybody. I wish everybody success, but finish everything you start. Write down your goals and stay with it.
Wow, I love it. Brandy, what would you like to share with the parents of other student athletes that are out here in the world? What would you like to share as we close out this conversation?
Yeah, I would say to the parents, just remember these are kids. I know sometimes with the athletes, you forget, they're doing all these things, stars and 4 stars, 3 stars, visiting colleges, doing great things at their high school. But at the end of the day, they are our children and they're kids, and you have to love them as kids. Not as, athletes or stars or whatever, the world says that they are. I mean, they are our children, and you have to love them and you have to pour into them. You have to be present. You have to give them discipline. You have to give them foundation. You have to give them love, and you have to give them exposure. So I would say first, always know that. I mean, don't lose sight of that they are your kids and they need you, and they need your love. They need your support, and for you always to be present. So I think that's important. And then I say to the athletes, because of what, I always tell Justice is, always just do your best in everything that you do. And never lose sight of that. And, Veron said, your time will come. And it may not always come in what you want it to be. It's
That's
going to
right.
come what God has, put on you and who you are supposed to become. And, so just always do your best, trust, God and his path, and keep that faith and keep your foundation, which is like your family, and your morals. I always tell Justice to what's true to you, because those transcend into all parts of your life. And if you can do those things, God's going to take care of you, and He's going to put you where you need to be. And, and that's just what it is. And you're going to feel good about yourself every day when you wake up in the morning.
Absolutely. That's very important to feel good when you wake up. That's right. More what both of y'all said some key words. Veron, you mentioned character. Yes, character matters every single moment. And Brandon, you mentioned morals. They go hand in hand. So I love that message to our parents, to our student athletes. Character and morals matter. Justice, my man, what would you like to share with the student athletes that look and say, "Oh my goodness, that's Justin Haynes"? What would you like to say to these young people that are coming up behind you that that desire to become a student athlete like you? What would you like to say as we finish up this conversation, Justice?
So yes, sir. First, I'd like to say is put God first. Faith is the most important thing. So you gotta always put God first and like thank Him for everything. And each day, my dad always tells me each day you can get like better or worse. You can't stay the same. So like try to get 1% better at everything each day, whether not just like in football and baseball, but like as a person, faith with your faith, and just hard work. Hard work will take you a long way because hard work beats talent anytime talent fails to work hard. So
Absolutely.
so hard work is definitely another big thing, and just keeping God first and just staying prayed up and just running your race. God has a different race for each one of us, but you got to run your race. So don't try to run anyone else's race. Run your race, because your time will come. Whatever God has set a stone for you, that's what you should run your race that He has for you.
Wow. Run your race, young people. You heard it from Justin Haynes himself. Blessed Trinity's own, Roswell, Georgia. Run your race. Young ladies, young men, hey, it's very, very important. Wow. This is, hey, Justice, Brandy, Veron, thank y'all for taking time out of your Sundays to share and to talk and to just show what kind of people you are. That's what this platform is, to show people that, hey, these kind of people exist in the world. And you can see all the negativity on the news. You can see it everywhere on social media. But hey, here's real life people sharing a little bit of themselves with us. And I hope everyone learns some. I definitely did. And thank you for the wonderful messages of faith, support, character, morals, exposure. Man, those are tremendous keys to life. So with that, we're going to sign off. But I thank everybody that watches this video. Please share it if you think there's a family, a student athlete, a coach, or a parent that needs to see this video. Please share it. And I am Barry Brown, author of the Amazon bestseller, The Student Athlete Playbook. Locally, go ahead and pick it up as a stocking stuffer here at Madu Bookstore, Greenbrier Mall. Out in the South Lake area, Monroe, Georgia, Nubian Books. Ask for my man Marcus at Nubian Books. Ask for Sister Nia at Madu Bookstore. And of course, you can go to Amazon and order it, and it'll get dropped off right at your house. Now, I'm also a part of the Student Athlete Achievement Program with the charity nonprofit organization Youth Education and Sports. So, hey, we are here to serve, and serve some more. So, hey, we look forward to seeing you again at our next student athlete playbook video conversation, where we'll have another great student athlete, parent, and or coach coming to you soon. All right. Hey, Justice, Brandy, Baron, thank you all very, very much. And
Thanks for
enjoy.
having us on. Thank you for
Yes,
having
sir.
us on.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your evening, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.